my fellow comic book collectors. It's Alan, the Comic Collector Geek, and I'm joined with Mark from Suddenly Comics, and we are going to talk about the hottest Silver Age comics of the week. And what I did this week, I was being a little lazy, to tell you the truth. What I did was I just took the biggest sales. These are the biggest sales, top 10 biggest sales, just by number. So Mark is going to really hate this list, to tell you the truth.
Well,
I
I have
know.
to tell you, we have had a severe infestation of spiders.
Yes.
Uh,
It's very a spider heavy
Alan is making up for all the
list.
weeks where we've only had one Spider-Man on the list.
Yeah, so I thought there was going to be some other big books that would kind of kick some of the spiders off, but it's a lot of spiders. Strangely though, your list is actually better than my list
It
in
is,
terms of
yes.
variety.
I wouldn't
It
have been happy having five Spider-Men on my list, but it's like you've got.
Yeah, so it's a very spider heavy list. And it's one where it's kind of interesting because you would think there would be an AF 15 on the list, didn't make the list. So it didn't sell this week, so that's why. Um, but yeah, some interesting spider books, some cool stuff that so
Okay, let's
stay
get
tuned.
started. And if you're a Spider-Man collector, prepare to get your knife ready for slitting your wrists because good news.
Yeah. Okay, so what's the first book?
The first book is Amazing Spider-Man issue 4 for Sandman, I believe.
Yep.
Nice looking copy.
Yeah. Generally I don't like these paneled ones, but I actually like this one.
I actually do like panel covers, and I do like this one.
Hmm.
So clean.
Yeah. I like it because it shows his powers.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He does appear to be defying all sorts of laws of nature in that second photo. Mass cannot be created or destroyed. Sandman appears to suddenly have lost a large amount of
I
mass.
think he's stretching out a little bit, is what's happening.
Okay, I'll let you off. Right, nice
Yeah.
copy. 7.5.
Yeah.
It's grade.
So, yeah.
Okay, we don't see that one. Recon
And what was the price?
and the price
3,100 something?
3,600.
600. Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah. Um, let's have a look, see how it did.
I mean, that seems like a reasonable price, but
Well, it's the lowest sale for 2.5 years. Uh,
okay.
and it's
But it's
got
still higher than pre-COVID.
just
Because
uh,
like if you look at the over like if you kind of like this book has been
I mean I could claim that is pre-COVID and that was 6,000.
wow. But that was probably some movie where he appeared, right?
Maybe. And again, I could claim that's pre-COVID, and that was 3,900. So, yes, if you pick your exact spot down here,
Well, I would pick that spot right there, that where it's down before that huge jump.
that's
That's
3.4, and we're at 3.6. So it's pretty
yeah.
close.
So those spikes are probably movie related because which is always dumb to me. Like um I thought the guy that played Sandman did a great job.
Yeah, I did. I quite liked him. Thought he was good.
Yeah. Yeah. And
He looked like the character, didn't he?
yeah, he looked like the character, did a good job. He actually made the character have a little bit of you can understand where he's coming from. He was kind of a failed criminal, like and maybe with a bit of heart of gold, but not really like the mind of the right mind. He's just not a smart criminal.
I mean, I don't think this has stopped falling. Every time this
It
sells,
looks down. It looks
every
like it's
time
going
this
on a downward
sells,
trend.
it sells for less than the previous time. And
Yeah.
that's been going on for 2 years.
Yeah. This one looks like it's trying to find its bottom.
Yeah.
Its bottom actually could be similar to that way back when that first little spike up. If you made that the trend line, like because it was like flat for a long, 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 long time. But if
Yeah,
you go back to that before that $6,000 sale right there, what was before that?
3,000.
3,000. So I'd say that probably, with inflation and all that, I'd say maybe 3,300.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, sort of in between the two, and then I think that would be a normal trend line for this book.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, it's still a great book.
It is. There's quite a lot of them, I think. Uh,
Yeah,
3,300. Well, there's ones with more than that.
yeah. But I mean, if you think about it, it is like a later issue. Like, I mean, it's not like number one or it's still it's like fourth issue.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. I think it's reasonable. Not
Yeah, right. I wouldn't
much to say about it.
I wouldn't buy it if you haven't got one. I'd wait a bit. I think it's coming down.
Yeah, I'd wait. Try to get it further around that 30, 32, 3,300.
Okay, next up. Oh goodness me, it's an Amazing Spider-Man. Amazing Spider-Man number two, the first Vulture, I believe.
Yeah, so that's the interesting thing about Spider-Man. It's like if you buy the first 10 issues of Spider-Man, you're pretty much getting a major key with
You
each
are
issue.
getting a new villain with each issue.
Yeah, a new major villain too, because these villains kind of come back a lot. So, yeah, so first Vulture, 6.5. This book was always an expensive one, because it's, Spider-Man number two.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but this seems a little bit affordable. A little bit affordable if that's
Well, it's 3/7, so it's not a lot different from the previous one. Let's have a look.
but this was a more expensive book.
Well, and here we go. That is the lowest sale for period of time. It is down. Is it where's pre-COVID? Pre-COVID's here. 3.2 pre-COVID, sitting at 3.6 to 3.7. So it's still a bit above pre-COVID.
Yeah, but
But
this one has a better trend line if you look at it. I mean, overall, it looks like this is the trajectory of where it should be. Maybe a little high, but not that high. I would say maybe again that 33, $3,400 range.
I hope you're right, Alan, because we could be here in a year's time and these have gone down way below the COVID level. These graphs are difficult to interpret at this stage, I think.
Yeah.
You're saying, well, it's on the trend line and it's at pre-COVID. I would say the trend is your friend and the trend is consistently down.
Well, yeah. So it looks like it's correcting slowly, right? Even like this one has kind of like the rocky kind of downward trend. Um, I think, there is a point where people say, "Hey, I remember it being worth more. I think this is a great book. It's a hard book to get in this higher grade because, people do collect these things and they do keep them in their
Yeah,
collections, right? So, and how many on the census?
even
Like
less of it.
2,000?
There's only 3,000 of these.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. This one I always found is a harder book to get.
Yeah,
Um, and yeah, I mean, it's a little bit down. What was the peak for this book?
6.
6. So similar to the other one,
Yeah,
but lower. This is a lower grade, so it's actually a more expensive book.
yeah.
Um, huh, interesting. I don't know. Very spider heavy a list. But yeah.
So let's see if the third one. Oh my goodness, it's Spider-Man.
No,
Uh,
this one actually during COVID had a massive sale. It had like $100,000 sale, not in this grade, but in a higher grade, and it went really crazy during COVID.
okay, so this one is a 7.0, which is quite good. I mean, somebody's written 25 cents on in the middle of it, and still got a 7.0 for this, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
Uh,
Um, yeah. So 3,800 for this one, right?
mhm.
So yeah, I think this one is going to be massively down based on based on my memory of how much that the big sales went
There you go,
for.
Alan. It is the horror of the week.
Yeah.
So, in
Because
this trade in 2022, this book sold for $17,500.
I told you there was that massive
This,
sale and it really screwed up the market.
well, and this sold last week for 3,800. So, somebody has lost a total of $14,000 on this.
Yeah. This one I got overhyped, way overhyped. Of all the Spider-Man books, this one went the most loopy. This and AF-15 during COVID were.
And I'm not taking any of your arguments about it being back at pre-COVID. It's below pre-COVID, way below pre-COVID.
Now, so that's interesting in a way. So okay, what's pre-COVID price? Let's say
Pre-COVID was 5.5.
5.5. Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, that's why I said this seems like I figured this would be massively down. I didn't realize it would be that massively down.
I mean, look at that graph. If this was a stock, you'd be everybody.
That's where you can see people jumping off the,
Yeah.
the window,
All
jumping out the window.
window ledges.
Yeah. Um,
This is why on the previous two, where you're saying, "Oh, it's fine, it's going to come out just above pre-COVID," I look at,
yeah,
I say, "It ain't finished yet, guys."
yeah. Well, you're very negative about Spider-Man anyways, so I'm trying to keep it positive about Spider-Man. I heard Spider-Man's a popular character. I think people like Spider-Man, so
Did they? Okay, so why are they
yeah.
not paying?
I don't know why they're not buying him.
Why has this comic
Um,
come down in value by 75%?
yeah. So as I said, during COVID, there was that big overpay that somebody did. Like as I said, I'd actually, can you find out how bad that 100? It was 100,000 sale. It was like
Or a 9.8?
it must have been a high grade. So let's see what the biggest sale during COVID was, and see how much it's plummeted. I'm just curious. How much money did somebody lose?
Unload the pain onto people, don't you, Alan?
Yeah. So
Yeah, it wasn't a 9.8 because it doesn't appear in our any. 9.6.
oh, that took a big fall.
Somebody paid $165,000
Yeah,
for a
that
nine.
was the one. That was the sale that I was talking about.
Yeah.
And that made this book go crazy because like, they were like, what? It's really that expensive? No, it's not. Somebody overpaid $160,000 on it.
Well, yes. The person who's just lost 14,000 on the 7.0 can feel comforted that the person here has lost 115,000.
Wow. Can you imagine somebody you buy it for like 160 and then you sell it for
50.
what is that, like 15,000, 20,000?
50. You can sell it for 50 now, so you can sell
50. Okay, so 50.
yeah, 50. So you've lost 115,000.
Well, okay. Not too bad.
Right. Okay. So
Yeah,
all good news for Spider-Man collectors at the moment.
yeah, well,
It's good news if you want to buy.
yeah, great news if you want to buy.
Right, let's see if this one can stop the rot. So this,
So this one might be the highest grade too.
yeah,
It's either, you
I've
know,
got, I've got hopes for this one, Alan. It probably didn't go as loopy during COVID.
yeah. This one was kind of a sort of a secondary spec because it's okay, it's the second appearance of Kingpin, but it's also his first cover appearance. And there's some other character that makes a first appearance in this book as well, who
Right.
is actually associated to the next Spider-Man movie.
Okay, but
So
it doesn't say anything on the label to that effect.
yeah. So there was a bunch of more recent spec about this
Okay.
book.
Is it one of the gangsters?
I forgot what it was. And somebody can tell me. I think it was like somebody that worked for the newspaper.
Okay. All right.
Um,
Okay. Well, so this sold for 4,560 dollars.
mhm,
Let's see if this one can break the trend. No, it
hopefully,
can't.
it's just as bad. I mean, Spider-Man
Oh,
was super hot during COVID.
this
What do
is
you
worse,
expect?
Alan. This is at the back at the price well, there's COVID.
They doesn't sell that often. It's a
2017,
9.6.
2017, one of these sold 7.1. This is just sold for 4.5. So this is way, way below pre-COVID.
This one has overcorrected, basically. This one doesn't really have much of a trend line. So, I mean, I don't think when you get these
Well, it's
really
got a
high,
very strong trend line from here to here.
well, it's a strong negative trend line, sure. Um, wow. So, but the point is, like, this one doesn't sell that often compared to the other books that we
Well, it
saw.
sells
So
once a year. So if you look at the last 3 years, in
it's been consistently
2022
down.
it sold for 9.6. In 2023 it sold for 7.8, and in 2024 it sold for 4.5.
Wow. Yeah, that's brutal. And is this the highest grade or is there a 9.8?
I imagine there's a 9.8 of this.
So yeah, so I mean, it's sort of
Yeah,
there's
yes, there
there
is.
there must be like yeah, it must be a low census or something. Um,
There's three of them. Yeah.
three of them, yeah. So yeah, it's sad when you see these super high grade ones even getting killed. Um,
Here's the other guy. First appearance of Joe Robbie Robertson.
yeah. See, I knew it was somebody associated to the newspaper. Um, and by the way, so there's only 2,000. This is a lower census for a Spider-Man.
Uh, yes. Yeah, it is quite low.
2,700. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a black cover, so you'd think that these high grade ones would, be a little harder to find. So they would command a little bit more money or a little bit more respect, but I guess not.
Well, it is harder to find. It only sells once a year. Uh,
Yeah.
Over the last 3 years, it consistently sells at significantly less.
So you just wait another like 45 years and it'll be free.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So
Okay. Good so far, Alan. Very exciting list, this.
is that the
Oh,
fifth one?
goodness. Here's the fifth
Wait,
one. I hope you're all
it,
still watching because of the variety in this show. Uh,
yeah. But you're getting to see all the major Spider-Man keys,
yeah, yeah.
and they're all dying. They're all
It's number
suffering horrible
14.
deaths.
What's special about number 14, Alan?
Oh, first Green Goblin.
There we go.
So this one I always loved. I always loved. This is one of my favorite Spider-Man keys, actually, because it's like it's the Green Goblin was kind of the first major villain for Spider-Man in terms of the movies. Tobey Maguire. When he did his movie series,
Yeah.
I thought that movie was probably one of the best Spider-Man movies.
Uh-huh.
Um, and yeah, William Defoe did a great job of
He
playing the
was
Green
easily
Goblin.
the best actor playing playing a Spider-Man villain.
Yeah, so I mean, like that makes me like really love this book. I always, it was one of the first ones that I really chased in terms of Spider-Man
Yeah.
keys.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think it's a cool one. I love it when the villain's on the cover too. So
Yeah. Well, it's a nice one, Alan. I do agree. It's one of my favourites as well. A 7.5 for 4,500. I wonder whether this is up or down, Alan. What do you reckon?
down. Uh, just a wild guess on that one. There's no evidence so far that we've
Yes, it
seen.
is. Uh,
Actually, not as bad though.
it's not as bad as the other ones we watched. This is of the five Spider-Mans that you put on your variety show today. Um,
Variety show.
um, or with five acts all the same.
Mhm.
This one's performed the best, I think.
Yeah,
This
I
is
mean,
this is still
it's
above pre-COVID. Yeah, it is still above pre-COVID.
And if you look at the overall trend line, this is actually way above the overall trend line. Like if you follow that like more historical trend line, this is way up.
Yeah, I think this one is appears to be holding up. And the last
Yeah,
sale wasn't down. The last sale was slightly up on the previous sale, which is always a good sign. Uh,
yeah,
another couple of those like that would show it's stabilizing. These are not stabilized. We do see comics that have stabilized after.
yeah, but not these ones.
These ones haven't. Amazing
Yeah.
Fantasy 15 has stabilized, for instance, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think
Yeah.
finally it's stabilized because I think people are just refusing to lose any more money on it. I think that's what causes the stabilization. It's like, okay, do I, lose another $10,000 on a book, and people are just not willing to do that. So I think that's why these sort of minor, not these aren't minor Spider-Man keys, but they are less major Spider-Man keys
There's a lot
than
of it.
AF-15.
There's 5,000. Why is there so many of this? The last couple we looked at, there's only 3,000 of them, and here we got nearly five and a
I,
half.
I don't know. Maybe more people saved this one. Maybe people, were really into Spider-Man by that point.
Interesting.
Yeah, that is kind of weird, isn't it? Like you would expect the census would get a little lower because it's like sort of a random number.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, but maybe in the '60s they said, "Oh, a new villain," you know. Therefore, everyone saved it because they like Spider-Man by that point.
Well, yeah, but it's issue 14, and you've had a virtually new villain in every issue.
Yeah, yeah, but I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm just trying to give some explanation. I don't know. But
Anyway, yes, there we go. We end with a little bit of hope for the arachnid lovers uh,
mhm,
with that one.
yeah. So yeah, if you want to see actually more variety and less spiders,
However, the
go over
first one
to
I'm going to be talking about is guess what it is?
well, okay. There is one on your channel. There's a couple actually, I think. But there are some other cool things that are on the list.
There
Okay,
is. There is.
it's not my fault. I just sheerly went by the top 10. That was it. Like I said, okay, what are the top 10 most expensive sales? These are them. This is the list. And like in a weird way, I kind of like doing that once in a while. I do it like every like couple months or so, where I just take the most expensive sales because what you see is, well, these are the things that people are most willing to spend their money on. You know what I mean? And you get to see those that top of the census. I was actually debating one time of doing the cheapest sales on there. But I thought, no, this is too stupid. Like $30, $30. It would be like people would be like, oh, is the comic market totally dying? No. So I decided just let's do the top. But there is more variety, and there's some pretty cool ones on your list. So go over to Mark's channel, check it out. It will be a better list. It'll be a better list. That's
Okay.
all I can say. Okay, bye for now, guys.
Bye.